Qualifying is done. Let's have a look at the grid here. Nuno is on pole, Rito in second place with Danimator in third. Those are the three expect to finish on the podium this time after finishing on the podium last time. Anti in fourth with his teammate down in sixth, being Sobel. Pamucius, his old teammate, in fifth place. Opalon with a very nice qualifying, he's in seventh. Cosmo in 8th, and the two Rapid Motorsport cars will start 9th and 10th. Going down the rest of the grid, we have Nandi, Danimator's teammate, in 11th, Rams in 12th, the two VEOs of Kamikaze and Vlad in 13th and 14th, Goose in the FLF is in 15th, Eurus in 16th in the LYR car, 17th goes to Hetmanek with Juicy Melon starting from the back. We're about to get underway here in the Saxenrimg. We've got lights out and away we go. Nuno is out in the lead still. Rito makes his way up into second place here. Anti's going to have a go at the leading pack here. Danimator in fourth. Going down, we've got Julo now. We've got a big collision going off there. We've got lots of battling in the midfield. To be expected, really. Lots of collisions, lots of battling. We've got Opalon in sixth place. Julo's broken away in fifth. Pamucius is in... Eurus, mute yourself. And then further up, we have Pamucius falling right down the order. He's now in 11th place, which is much lower than he'd want to be at the moment. We've got Nuno, Rito, and Danny still battling it out in the front. Rito's going to have a go at Nuno here. Danny's still hanging on. Anti also in this leading pack of four. Like we saw in Challenge League, we've got another leading pack breaking away here. We've got Julo in No Man's Land in 5th place. A very, very good start for him. Cosmo in 6th. Sobel in 7th from the back of the grid. What a wonderful start for him. Commie in 8th, but we have a little bit of a lag rocket at the moment. Let's really hope this resolves itself soon. Otherwise, we will be in trouble. Looks like it will do, just about. But we're not going too well here. This lag spike means that Danimator's now in the lead, Nuno in second, Rito in third, with Julo now massively closing the gap up. He's in 4th place. That was really unfortunate that we had that happening, but let's pray that doesn't happen anymore. And he dropped back a fair amount. He's about a second and a half off that leading pack now. Nuno and Rito scrapping it out for second and third. Julo is allowed through around the outside as Rito goes onto the grass there. Anti is now the one in No Man's Land in 5th place. We've got Rams, Pamucius and Cosmo fighting down into 8th place. Juicy Melon in 9th place on his return to Sunday League after 50 plus races out of the sport, and Sobel in 10th. He's lost a few places due to that lag spike. Then we've got Commie, who puts a questionable move in on Jake there, which allows Het and Goose and Nandi through. Nandi's jumping around a little bit on my screen. The two SCPs flanking Rams here. We're going to go back up to the front pack. They're still battling away, but Danny at his home track, at his home race, or one of his 4 home tracks I should say, is really stretching out that lead. Nuno and Rito battling here for second place. Rito in his second ever race in the sport, really showing how it's done to all the old guys who have been here for ages. Julo still up fighting in that kind of pack, fighting for second place. He's doing really well at the moment. Pamucius in 6th place. He's made up a couple of places there. Rams and Cosmo also there. Sobel in 9th and Melon in 10th. We've got a big rocket over there. Goose, Hetmanek and Nandi in the mid-pack there. Opalon, Het's teammate, just overtakes him and gets past Goose as well. Andrews could not be here today, so Het has stepped in for him. It is paired with Opalon, who's making his first race of the season. Then further up, we've got Julo, who's been now overtaken by Anti. 3rd place, we've got Rito. 2nd place, we've got Nuno, who's still trying to close that gap to Danny. Any battling in this front pack will massively lose them time. Nuno's pulled up a little bit of a gap on Rito for the time being, luckily for him. That is how it is at the moment. Now we're looking at the close battles. Pimu and Anti are in 6th and 4th. Julo in the middle of them in 5th place. Julo is on the hard tyres. We're on lap 9 at the moment, so Julo's hards will have much more longevity. He goes round the outside into the second last corner. Danny's in, Nuno's in, Pimu is in, Rito leads the race. Julo is in 2nd place in the RMC. What a brilliant, brilliant start he's having. No bias there. Anti in 3rd, and Danny just overtaking him now for 3rd, having just stopped. Nuno's going to have to also work his way back through this pack of Julo and Anti, who are yet to stop. I reckon Anti will be coming in now. No, he's going to go another lap on these soft tyres. He's going to go to the end of lap 11 on them. Out in the lead, we have Nuno now, as Rito has pit for soft compound tyres. Got a little penalty there, but the pack remains relatively unscathed. Nuno now extends it out in front. Danny has really lost his advantage there. He had a massive lead going for him, but the traffic of Julo and Anti has really come in as a variable there. Nuno's come out of it perfectly. He now leads the way, so we've had a lead change here. Julo is now up into second place again. Rito's fighting Anti back there for fourth. Looks like Rito's just made his way around the outside at the end of sector 1 to get him. Julo in third place now. Both him and Danny are on the hard compound tyres. Danny already having stopped, Julo not quite yet. Anti's now in for his stop after amazing 12 lap stint on the softs that definitely shouldn't have lasted that long. Rito gets Julo a little bit onto the grass there. We've got Pimu and Sobel. Sobel recovering very well from having to start from the pit lane after breaching park Ferme conditions. 7th place we have Rams, keeping up with his very consistent race performances that we've seen over the last few races, starting off this season, going back to season 7 as well. We've got Anti down in 8th, having just stopped and extending that first stint as much as he could. Julo is out of the pit lane, ahead of Sobel, and he's in 7th place. That's very unfortunate timing, because the rain is now coming. We're going to have about 20 seconds until the drops start hitting the track. The first person into the pit lane is Jake Brad, down in 14th place. Pimu goes for another lap. We've seen this as a tactic he does quite often. Whenever there's just light rain announced, he'll go up for another lap just to test the waters, very literally. Rito is in 2nd place now. He's really made his way back up. Nuno is in 1st. Looks like they're all going to have to come in now. It will be too late for a switch back to dry weather for staying out to really be justified. Rito clips the pit wall on his way in. We'll have to see where he is with Danny on the exit. Danny is side by side with Rito on the pit exit. They come out into turn 1. Danny's just going to get ahead, being on the inside, with Rito's box being slightly later. Danny was able to position himself on that pit exit very nicely. Nuno still leading the way. He's got a 4-second gap out in the lead. Hanandi still not in for slick tyres, nor is Opalon. They're both coming in now. That will have cost him a fair few positions, I think, with a bit of slick running in the wet. We've got Eurus and Hanandi now battling down in the last positions. We've got Het also joining that prestigious fight. Further up, we have Opalon, who messed up the strategy. Jake, who stopped about 3 laps before Opalon did. Melon running on his own in 11th, pretty much. Conway in 10th, very solid for him. Cosmo, Sobel, Anti and Julo side by side for 6th and 7th positions at the moment. We'll see which one of them comes out in front. Julo is on the extreme wet weather tyre. Anti's inters should be faster for the moment. Julo gets sandwiched into the wall on the exit. Dry conditions are coming back. We've got Rams in 5th place. In 4th place, we have Pamushis. In 3rd place, we have Rito. 2nd is Danimator. Nuno out in the lead. We've got 20 laps gone, about a third of the race distance over here in the Saxenrimg. It's been an exciting one to start off with. Changeable weather conditions really spicing up the race on about lap 15 here. And we'll see how this progresses as we go throughout the race. Pimu in 4th place. Ooh, we might have had a few people consider coming in for slicks, but the rain is coming back at some point very soon, so the track won't dry out. It will just be light rain again for the time being. We'll see how the rest of the pack is doing. Rams is in 5th, very solid for him. Anti, then Sobel battling Julo. Julo's falling a little bit. Those wet weather tyres, not quite the option he would have wanted to go for. Sobel down the inside at turn 1. That could be a very nice overtake, but Julo's just going to stay ahead for the time being. Sobel's got the inside line into the next sequence of left-handers here. Julo goes a little bit wide. Sobel does get the position. Jake is coming into the pits, maybe a lap early, although who are we to say? Actually, yeah, I am to say it is probably about a lap early. Rito and Danny and Nuno still running in the podium positions. Pamushis looking really the only man that can stop them from taking another set of podiums. Rito stays out. Danny's in. Pimu's in. Rito stays out. Nuno stays out. Have they messed this up here? We know on the back straight of the track there's not a lot of grip needed to negotiate those corners. Just the last couple will do for you. And Nuno is now in. We'll see where Nuno, and especially Rito, come out relative to Danny. Rito had the track draw out for him on his inters about midway through, so he didn't get quite the advantage that Nuno did. Nuno is properly out ahead now. Danny and Pimu come storming through on their slicks. Pimu has overtaken Danny, and he's now up into second place. He had a very strong end to last season, taking, I think, 3 or 4 podiums in the second half of the season. Very, very good driver, Pimucius. Obviously taking his maiden win in the 5th race at France Karting. Rito's late stop puts him down into 4th, and it doesn't really look like Nuno's lost any time on Danny or Pimu through that little strategy call there. Het gets a penalty. We can see him just a lap down from Antti and Rams, who are running in 5th and 6th. Sobel in 7th, and Julo now cut adrift down in 8th. Cosmo's hunting after him. He's in P9. Commi in P10. Melon quite the distance back from Commi. He's in 11th. Goose in the other FLF, who managed to field both drivers today despite not having either main driver available. He's in 12th place. 13th is currently a battle between Het and Vlad, fighting in P13 and P14. Het really recovering from being right down near the back to begin with. Jake is in 15th with Hernandi, the other LSA car, in 16th and 17th, battling Eurus for that, with Opelon running right at the back. Out in front, not really many changes. Pimucius and Danimator still in 2nd and 3rd in the sequence they were before. Rito's really going to have to hope to make up some positions here. I've got a little bit of a lag on my end, I apologise for that. Anti's in 5th place. He's past Rams, who was holding 5th place for a considerable amount of time. Danimator and Rams both on the hard tyres. Sobel is in 7th and Julo in 8th. I'm going to ask, unfortunately, I haven't turned on strict mode. I do get Discord notifications, so if people would just remain in the VC for the time being and not leave and rejoin, as that does add noise to the broadcast. That is my error, I'm afraid, but that will be fixed for the next outing in Broad Oak. Very similar running right up at the front here. Danny on his hards, just slipstreaming Pimu on the softs. You'd reckon that this might be his only way of bringing himself back into this fight for the lead, if he can just slipstream Pimu, take this soft tyre pace, and be able to take it once Pimu's come in, and use the longevity of the hards to take a stop less. Meanwhile, Nuno just still holding pretty much about a 6-second lead. He's doing really well out in front. Rito still in 4th, not really looking at any gains on the rest of the pack for the time being. We've still got 18 runners in that race. In this race, commentator's curse means that we'll probably have a retirement soon now I've said that. But we've just gone over half race distance here as we start lap 30 of the Grand Prix. Danny finally makes his way past Pimu into P2. That looks like the right time to do it, as Pimu's softs are pretty old by this point. Rito's still in 4th. In 5th, we've got Rams, very strong outing for him, very strong outing for FGR in general. 6th, we've got Antti, Rams is taking that position back. I think Anti's gone in for an extra stop because he was on the softs with Rams on the hards. Julo still in 8th with Sobel in 7th, Commi in 9th. We'll have a look at battles down the rest of the pack. Most people seem to have about a second or so gap, at least, to whoever's around them. Hernandi running pretty low, not quite where the team boss level would want him to be at the minute. Apologies for any notification sounds of joining and leaving at the moment. Forgot to disable those in my setup for the race, but that is completely my fault. Nuno coming through now to lap Sobel. Sobel running in 7th place. Nuno just absolutely breezing out in the lead. Danny, of course, is on the hards, so he will have more longevity on those tyres, which gives him more options for strategy coming towards the end of the race. But Nuno's softs, despite looking like they'll die off, I mean, he's still putting in very respectable lap times. We'll see what this one is, or whether he will pit now, and where he does come out when he pits. He does come into the pits now. We've got Danny making his way through Sector 3 at the moment. Nuno's got his new tyres on. Will Nuno be out ahead of P2? Not quite. They're side by side going into turn 1. But Nuno is a pit stop ahead of Danny, having stopped one more time. Nuno makes his way back through on the hard compound tyres. There's about 15 laps left in this race. I wonder if Nuno will try and stretch these hards all the way to the end. I mean, I think he has to pretty much, but we'll really see how that goes. Pamucius in third place still. He was on the soft compound tyres. He's now stopped for a new set. Rito in fourth. Only man in the top 12 on the medium compound tyres, so he's trying the middle compound there. Anti still in fifth, Rams in sixth. Anti making that position back up with Rams's hards reaching the end of their lifespan now. Sobel in seventh, Judo still in eighth, not too far back. And then Cosmo quite a ways back in ninth place. We've got some clouds coming over, potentially some rain to end the race off with. We'll see how this goes. Then we've got Goose in 11th, Vlado2 in 12th, Melon, Jake Brad, and Hetmanek, Hernandi, Urist, and then Opalon down in last. Nuno still leading the race. I think he is now double lapping the LSA car of Hernandi. Pamusha still in second place. Danny in third after making a stop off those hard tyres. He's now on the mediums. He's done that at the wrong time because the rain is now coming. And it's coming down heavily. It's going to be 5 drops, which as we know means heavy rain inbound. Rams and Goose are the first on to the wet compound of the tyre. Rito and Anti and Sobel are going to be suffering a little bit. They're still on their slicks, but they won't have stopped yet. Rito just kind of gliding to his pit box there. And this will again be playing pretty much into Nuno's hands, as obviously being the furthest ahead on track, he is able to stop. I'm just going to test if we still have issues here or if this is improved now. Lev, what are your thoughts so far this race? Lev, I don't think is with us. I'm afraid. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. If you can speak now. No. We've got Nuno in the lead, Pamucius in second, we've got Danny in third. If someone could ask the people sending messages to not, I'm afraid, I'm sorry, it is interrupting the broadcast. That is again my fault for not turning them off. This has played into Pamucius' hands pretty well. Danny's in third, Pimu's in second. Pimu going with the softer compound of tyres, taking the extra stop, but the rain has really balanced this out because it was just when Danny pitted, just a little after Danny pitted, that the rain came out in lots. Nuno's going to be looking to take his first win of the season in the second race of the season. Pimu would absolutely love a podium here. He's got Danny to contest with him for it, and Rito about 4 to 5 seconds back. He's in 4th place. We'll see how this goes coming to the end of the race. I've got a little bit of stuttering on my end. This unfortunately hasn't been a very high quality broadcast. I do sincerely apologise for that. Danny is in 3rd place still. He's battling Pamucius for 2nd. He's closed in finally. He's looked like he's had better pace so far in the season. The full grid obviously on the full wet weather tyres, and the rain is not going anywhere really anytime soon. We're coming towards the final 16-17 laps. I made a miscalculation earlier when I said that Nuno would be going to the end on his hards. He clearly wasn't. Kind of underestimated the race distance. So yes, that was a thing that happened. The dry conditions are coming soon, but the track will take a bit of time to dry out from those full wet weather conditions. 5th place, we still have Anti, who's been running there pretty much all race, just on a little bit of a strategy battle with Rams. Julo is up into 7th. Sobel down in 8th. I wonder what's happened there. Has Sobel stopped for new wets? Doesn't look like it. If Julo can make some inroads on Rams here, he could finish with a top 6 finish, which I believe would be his best ever in Sunday League. That would be nice. Pamucius in 3rd place. Danny's gone past him. Nuno pretty dominantly still out in the lead of the race. 7 seconds, 8 seconds. I mean, we can't always trust the timing screens, but they're saying that he's got a pretty big lead, and I honestly believe that. Definitely got a pit stop behind him, so he does have the luxury of being able to stop whenever he wants. We do have our first retirement of the race, Hetmanek 32. I believe he might have been under time pressure, which meant that he isn't able to finish this race. That's a real shame. We love seeing Het back racing whenever he can. He did very well in Challenge League earlier, starting on the front row of the grid. But he won't be finishing this race. We will just have 17 out of the 18 finishers. Hopefully we'll get 17, you never know. Opelon pretty far back in last place, or last of the runners at the moment. No real action in the front pack, but we've got a little bit of a battle going on there. I think we might have just seen Rams defending, getting his elbows out there with Julo. Sobel in 8th. He's going to look to pick up the scraps from these kind of relatively new drivers. Obviously, they fought for the Challenger League Season 1 title. Meanwhile, Sobel was fighting for the Sunday League Season 1 title, so we've got a real gap of experience there. People finally started to come in for the slicks, and he's not having any of it. He's stayed out on the wet tyres. Considering how old they are, really not sure them on a dry track will do him any good unless the rain comes back now. Julo, Rams, Sobel are all in for their stops. Commi unlapping himself on Anti. Anti will be losing a considerable amount of time here. Rito in 4th place. All the top 4 aside from Nuno on the mediums. Nuno has such a gap he could honestly do a 2-stopper if he wanted to. But they're all pretty confident that it is the medium tyre that is the correct tyre to the end of the race. Anti, you can see why he tried it, because he did have a considerable gap behind him. Even with that slow lap, he has still come out pretty clear of Rams. So it's worth an effort that to try and make some inroads on the top 4, otherwise he wasn't going to be really getting anywhere with that. We've got pretty much gaps up and down the grid, the most substantial being the top 8 from the rest of the 17 runners. Cosmo down in 9th is 13 seconds adrift. Commi in 10th. We'll go check in on those guys for the moment. Cosmo and Commi battling it out here. Commi right ahead of his teammate Vlado too, but obviously on track a considerable amount ahead. Cosmo looks to have the upper hand for the time being. Commi confident that the hards are the right tyre to end the race on. We've got a few going for that. We've got Rams going for that, Sobel going for that. I think the longevity will definitely serve them in the long run. We'll see how it does for the time being though. So Julo's mediums will definitely be faster than Rams's hards. He's going to try and make an overtake while he can before his tyres will be in worse condition. But honestly, mediums should pretty comfortably last to the end here. We have no real position changes up near the front at the moment. We've got Julo not too far off Rams. We've got Sobel in 8th. 9th place we've got Cosmo. 10th we've got Commi. The sun is coming out, which is lucky. We're not really going to have any rain to the end of the race, it looks like here. So far, if you're just joining us, which you might be, Nuno is out in the lead of the race, over a pit stop ahead of Danimator in 2nd. Pamusha's in 3rd, trying to take that podium off Rito, who is in 4th place. Rito with a very impressive outing last time, did very well in the original lobby. It crashed, and then he could only manage 3rd place, but a very strong finish for him on his debut race still. It looks like it'll only be 4th place here, because we've got a few seconds separating each racer in the top pack at the moment. Closest gap we do have is Julo and Rams, it looks like down there. Then who have we got down the pack? We've got a battle maybe between Urist and Melon. Urist making his way up. We've had a few people trade that kind of infamous P16, P17 spot, although Opelon's pretty consistently stayed at the back there. Urist, you can tell, not too happy with that little shove from Melon. He's coming in for a pit stop here with softs that are only going to take him 6 laps at the end of the race, probably 5 considering that he has been lapped. Everyone up to, well, we can take a look actually. Everyone up to nearly Anti has been lapped, so everyone not in the top 5 has currently been lapped. We're on lap 57 of 59. It's been a pretty good race overall, if not too much movement in the leading pack. Yeah, that's pretty much how it is for the time being. Julo's still trying to make inroads on Rams. It'll be the real battle as we come towards the end of the race. It'll be 6th, 7th, and 8th here. Commie in 9th, he's quite a ways back. That 9th position has not looked close to the top 8 all race long. Here we go, finally some actual battling. Sobel's going to go to the inside of Julo here. Julo's medium's looking pretty worn out. We've got only 2 laps to go. Sobel forces his way past into the final corner. Sobel's now going to go after Rams. Rams holding a very respectable 6th place. But he does make a mistake there, and Sobel immediately gets past him. Julo's going to look to get past him too now as well. We'll check how the front pack are doing. Nuno's still out in the lead on those softs. Those are going to be doing not too well at the moment. Definitely slowing him down. But he has just crossed the line, and he has won the Saxon Grand Prix. Danny, in his home race, comes home to take 2nd, and Pamucius is in 3rd place, taking his first podium of the season. That is the timer done. Nuno takes 1st place and the fastest lap as well after starting on pole. That is a hat-trick for the Portuguese driver. Danimator is in 2nd, Pamucius is in 3rd, Rito in 4th in the LYR. The NTHs are Anti and Sobel in 5th and 6th, Rams in 7th, and Julo in 8th. Commie in 9th, Cosmo in 10th is your top 10. Going down the rest of the pack, we have Vlad02 in 11th, the FLFs of Goose and Melon in 12th and 13th, Urist in 14th, Nandi in 15th, Jake in 16th, Opalon and Hetmanek and the NBZs in 17th and 18th, Het having retired. That's all for the time being, but I hope to see you all back next time for round 3 in Broad Oak. Until next time, see ya.